even believe that was even stated. My child is my life. If I lost her, I would kill myself. I can't live without my baby.
A mother's love is meant to be priceless, but in Florida, this lady puts a shocking price on her own daughter.
I walked over there, she said, I'll give you, if you give me $500 right now, you can have it. I said, have what? She said, have her. And she put her down in the leaves. And I said, are you serious? At this time, the baby got up, she was getting ready to walk in the road. If you know Creel, it's a busy road.
In today's video, we'll be looking at a similar story where a mother's actions left everyone stunned. On March 5th, 2024, in Florida, a mother, Jessica Woods, was caught allegedly selling her 18-month-old daughter for $500. According to the local business employee, Jessica was frequently seen in that area in Palatka, Florida. The officer asked Jessica if she and her baby were okay because the baby was crying and he was worried.
They were worried about the baby.
Because she's throwing a tantrum.
No, well, more they wanted to make sure the baby was okay and that you were okay.
She told him that there was no need to worry about a child crying. The officer then asked her why she was there, and she explained that she was looking for emergency housing because her boyfriend was hurting her and beating her, which made her leave home.
Why are you looking for emergency housing?
Because I had a boyfriend who used to beat out of me and I don't want it around my kid.
So
He probably will not take me.
The officer suggested she go to LaCoonley, but she replied that they wouldn't help her as the last time she went there with her child, they told her husband that she was there. Jessica then asked the officer if she could sit in the car because it was too cold and she was freezing, but the officer denied her request, saying that he couldn't let her sit in either the front or the back of his car. He further added that a victim's advocate was on the way to speak with her. However, seeing her insist, he eventually walked Jessica to his car. Meanwhile, Jessica's 1-year-old child had no shoes on and wasn't even wearing a diaper. Yet she continued talking freely to the officer with no concern for her child's condition. The officer asked her where she was staying. Jessica said that she had been staying at 188 Mango Drive, but the guy she was living with was crazy, so she left the place last night. She then asked the officer if she could use the bathroom. He told her to use the restroom in the restaurant.
Do you need any wipes?
Please.
We have all this in the backpack.
Yes,
We can have all this in the backpack. Some of the backpack.
It's just right now I'm needing a place to stay. She thinks y'all probably trying to take her away from her.
No, I'm not taking her away from mommy.
By the time Jessica left the bathroom, the advocate arrived with more police officers, but still Jessica wasn't arrested. Instead, she was provided with diapers for the baby, food, and other things she needed. A few hours later, Jessica's baby was seen with another woman who brought her to the police station and told how she found her and how horribly Jessica left her daughter.
She's a client at my office.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this. I know that this is way outside of what
I'm a mom first.
I understand. So we really appreciate your help.
The woman told the police that Jessica had come to her office yesterday asking for help. Jessica told her that her boyfriend had kicked her out of the house and that she and her baby were suffering. The woman also mentioned that every time she saw Jessica and her baby, they were always barefoot, no matter how much help she provided. She added that last night Jessica came to her asking for money, but she told Jessica that she could only offer food, clothes, and essentials for the baby, but no money. This response made Jessica furious, and in her anger, she hit her 18-month-old child on the neck with her elbow. After witnessing this horrible behavior, the woman immediately called the police.
She was like, she's not going to do that because I only have one diaper for her. So she put the diaper back on her. And it wouldn't, you know how the sticky side of the diaper, it wouldn't stick no more. So she like hit her. And was like, you just stupid. You shouldn't did that. And I was like, what? So I called the police.
However, she claimed that Jessica knew the responding officer, mentioning that his name was DJ. Jessica allegedly said that DJ had assured her he would protect the baby, but ultimately did not, as he was friends with Jessica.
She knew one of the officers. His name was DJ. That's what she called him. And I told him, she struck the child and that, we're concerned at this point because every time she brings this little girl, the little girl barely have clothes on.
She further stated that the next morning, Jessica came to her office at 7 a.m. Jessica was sleeping in the AC unit while her daughter was in a Dollar General shopping cart. The woman asked Jessica to leave, but Jessica said she needed help. So the woman offered to buy her some clothes or essentials for her daughter, but Jessica refused and insisted that she only needed money. As soon as Jessica said that, the woman calmly asked her to leave, explaining that she was only willing to buy things for Jessica's daughter and would not give Jessica any money.
She said, I'll give you, if you give me $500 right now, you can have it. I said, have what? She said, have her. And she put her down in the leaves. And I said, are you serious? At this time, the baby got up and she was getting ready to walk in the road. If you know Creel, it's a busy road. So she get ready, and I grabbed the baby and I picked her up and I said, I'm not giving you no money.
Hearing this, Jessica became upset and then took her daughter to the restroom. Shortly after, the child started crying, leading the woman to believe that Jessica may have hurt her. The woman added that she called the police, informed them about everything, and then followed Jessica. She eventually found Jessica on the side of the road where Jessica had pushed the shopping cart with her daughter in it toward the street. The woman rushed to stop it, immediately grabbing the baby to keep her safe. She then pleaded with the police officers to charge Jessica for what she had done and insisted that Jessica should not be allowed to be with the child. However, no one listened to her.
And I seen the police officers, they were like, okay, if she's still out of the store, we can charge her. And I'm like, all the stuff she done did this baby, y'all should be charging her for that.
The woman told the investigator that the next day, she saw Jessica at her office asking coworkers for $500 in exchange for her baby. The woman was so shocked she asked Jessica if she needed help, but Jessica refused, saying she just wanted to get rid of the child. She then placed the baby on the ground, calling her a burden. The woman picked up the baby immediately and told Jessica she wouldn't return her and she won't give her any money. She took the child to her car, cleaned her up, fed her, and decided she would do whatever it took to protect her.
She said, well, just have her because it's just too much for me. I said, what is too much for you? I said, do you need help? Again, I'm asking you, do you need help? And she said, no, I don't need help. I just don't want the baby.
The police officers then told the woman that they helped Jessica in the morning. They gave her clothes, diapers, food, and everything she needed. They called DCF to help her out, and they did so, but yet she did this and abandoned her 18-month-old Jessica's baby, was ultimately handed over to the Department of Children and Families to ensure she would no longer suffer. But the case didn't end there. 2 days later, the police found Jessica, and it was time for the investigators to interrogate her.
Come here, baby. Come here. Hey, come here.
No, put her name. Okay.
Hey, sweetheart.
You could give the other stuff like upon arrival.
We took the blanket.
We'll be right.
Jessica knew what she had done, and it was difficult for her to escape the charges after allegedly committing those acts. The officer asked Jessica if she had any children, to which she replied that she had 2. One had passed away and the other had been taken by authorities. She said her daughter's name was Giovanne Chantel, an 18-month-old baby, and insisted that she loved her and could never do the things she was being accused of. Jessica claimed that a woman she knew from HR had offered to care for her daughter in exchange for providing clothes, diapers, and food. At first, Jessica refused, but eventually agreed. However, she insisted that she had only allowed the woman to keep Giovanne until 6 p.m. the previous night. But the woman never returned her and stopped answering her calls. Jessica said that after that, she was contacted, banned, and charged. She also claimed she didn't know much about the woman, only that her name was Crystal. She was black and had pink hair.
I went to file my taxes at H&R Block. While I was there, one of the members of my church filed my taxes for me. She asked me if she could keep my daughter overnight.
This lack of concern for the whereabouts of her own daughter spoke volumes about how much she truly cared for her. Jessica further stated that she never wanted help from anyone, but her colleague encouraged her to seek assistance because she needed it. Trying to portray herself as a victim, Jessica said she was simply trying to get back on her feet after leaving an abusive marriage and that she wanted her daughter back. The officer asked Jessica that if she loved her daughter this much, why didn't she call the police in the first place when her daughter wasn't returned? To which she responded as that DCF already approached her and told that they have her daughter and she can have her till 9 a.m.
So you had no idea where your daughter was?
She was supposed to be in St. Augustine at the outlet getting new clothes and stuff. That's the only reason I allowed her to go, was because she asked me, she was like, Sister Woods, does Gigi have a godmama? Can you let me be her godmama? I want to go get this little girl some clothes. I don't let people get my kids.
Jessica said she couldn't imagine a life without her daughter and claimed she would die without her. She also mentioned having a brain tumor and lupus, but the officer could tell she was lying. After her arrest, the officer informed her that there was already a warrant issued against her. Jessica was arrested and charged with child neglect and cruelty toward children. She was held in the Putnam County Jail on a bond of more than $250,000. Later, she was released from jail and moved to prison, but it remains unclear how long her sentence is. The court ruled that Jessica is not allowed to have any contact with her daughter, who is now 3 years old and being cared for in foster care. These tragic stories like these highlight the importance of standing up for vulnerable children. If you found this video informative, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories.